To me, it's not AI. AI is going to do what it's going to do. It's a great tool. It's powerful. We're gonna use it just like everyone else. And I think people that are like very obsessed with vibe coding and getting, I'm going to rebuild Calendly. I'm going to rebuild this. Like, all right, man, I get it. Like, good. You save $10 a month. Like, I'm more. I think of high leverage. My highest leverage activity is to serve our team. So if I have 100 people in our business, and as CEO, I drive a change that can save everyone an hour a week. That's 5,200 hours a year that we just saved. That's massive leverage.
Welcome to Unfiltered, the official podcast of PropertyManager.com. I'm your host, Dylan Scroggins, coming live from the van, broker owner 2026 in New Orleans, and happy to have Mr. Dan French. Dan, how are you?
Doing great, man. Proud to be with a legend here.
I don't know
An
about that.
SFR legend
I don't know about
like
that.
you. Yeah, no, you are.
Oh, well,
It's
we already
great.
talked about it. I'm kind of a fanboy on LinkedIn, man. We're going to get into some of your content and stuff. But
Reciprocal.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
some good stuff. So Dan, for those who don't know him, serves as the CEO of Northpoint out of Austin. But we're going to go right into Dan's stories.
Yeah.
From the Bronx to
Right.
Austin.
Right.
That's a very vague question, but fill in some blanks here, man. Bronx to Austin. How did it happen? And then also weave in a little bit of how you got into the PM space.
Yeah, no, first of all, pleasure to be on, man. And I want to go right into my background and tell you real quick, BX, New York, that was 30 years. I was born in the Bronx, 7 years in the city, but really raised upstate, suburban metro area of New York City area. My parents are both from the Bronx, but yeah, I had a great upbringing. I got into property management really through the investment side, and I started investing in real estate assets when I was about 24 and had that very similar experience a lot of people probably went through, maybe other PM founders as well, like where we're investing in real estate assets 2005, thought it was going to go all great, like passive income, and it was going to go up and to the right. Of course, 2008 comes and almost went personally bankrupt. So that was my genesis. Was I kind of like understood real estate from the ground up because I was forced into it, forced into operations, forced into dealing with banks and working things out, and really like counting every single dollar, being frugal. Man, I slept on in our vacant homes like so many times I can't even count, man.
Mm,
And sometimes I was staying in hotel rooms that were like $40 hotel rooms up there. That's how grimy, grimy is not the right word, like scrappy.
I
That's
love
how
that.
scrappy we were. But that was my genesis, and it makes me really that was my formation, and it makes me understand and have a deep empathy for people who go through all of that, and even to today, the operators that go through so many struggles within property management, answering the maintenance calls, dealing with leasing, dealing with residents, dealing with owners. So it's a very, very tough business. As you know, you place the billions of people now at this point, and the people that get excited by property management, they're a rare breed. So,
Yeah. There's a lot of them here at Broker Owner. I think a
no
lot of
doubt.
kindred spirits. Shout out Peter and Crane on the cruise last night. That's probably
Hmm.
the most fun part of it. And once again, I'm not a PM owner, but everybody just sharing stories and being in a safe place. It's
Right,
like,
right,
and there's a lot of power in that.
for sure.
A powerful statement on your LinkedIn, and I told
Mhm.
you I'm going straight at it, but
So
right at the top, caps lock, Siempre Adelante Excelsior. That's a lot of fancy words for a guy from Birmingham. So if I butchered any of that, let me know.
yeah.
But we just got to touch on that, man. Like, you don't see a lot of Latin on LinkedIn. So I had to
Yeah.
ask, first off, what does it mean? And then
Yeah.
secondly, what does it mean to you?
I'm kind of like a street philosopher, you know what I mean? Like I think of myself as like, I love to read, I love to learn, I love to be inspired by people that came before me, and really be inspired by something much higher, the higher order of things. We're in a spiritual realm as well as an earthly realm. So I like to stay attached to what my ultimate mission is, which is going to heaven, getting my family to heaven, getting as many of my friends and, my kids to heaven. That is what Excelsior to me means. I can go into always forward. Excelsior means ever upward, and so really think about, like, first of all, improving every day, 1% better every day. So with your earthly life, but then keeping your mind focused on going to the eternal home, which is heaven. So that's ever upward is like you have to cast your eyes up there.
Yeah.
This is our temporary resting place, and or temporary home is our eternal resting place.
Love that. Some bigger vision here on the podcast. Because you're right, man. Especially in the PM space. I mean, this is a PM pod. Like, it's
Yeah.
easy to get just absolutely sucked into the day to day.
It is, and maybe that's what always forward means to me. Like that's inspired by a Catholic saint named Saint Sarah. This is a missionary in the 1700s that created all the missions along like California and Mexico. And he walked like tens of thousands of miles all through this kind of like missionary trail that was built. And he said, always forward, every step, like one step in front of
Mm.
another, and boom, never give up, just go forward.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. I mean, people figure they 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 underestimate what they can achieve because they don't put one foot in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? And they give up at the wrong time. It's like, bro, you almost made it, but then you gave up. Like if you always go forward, you're gonna push through the pain, and you're gonna get to the joy.
Well, it seems like that's a common topic right now with PM is the question of what do you want? Because there's a lot of folks at 500 doors who want 800. And
Mhm.
then a lot of 800 and want to be at 1800. You don't meet a lot of people who are just happy with their door count.
Right.
They should be.
Mhm.
But what are your thoughts on, well, actually, let me back up a little bit. 'Cause we're getting into the future of PM in a second.
Right.
But
Right.
tell us a little bit more about North Point. How'd you
Yeah.
get there? And then just a quick word on what do you do and who do you serve? I'm talking about North Point, not
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah.
your role.
Well, how did I get there? All right. In the middle part of my career, so in the beginning of the career, it was great, and then it was really terrible,
Mm.
and I was stressed to the max, man. It was my most stressful days was 2008, 9, and 10, where I was like losing my hair. It was crazy, man. I was going through I was in the gutter emotionally and all this stuff. But then we came out of it, and my partner on that deal founded a real estate private equity firm that bought $2 billion in asset value, 17,000 apartments, mostly in Florida and Texas. I became CEO in 2016. And that firm had about 450 people at the peak, right? Because we had the buy side, all the private equity team, we had our whole operations team, we had everything in house, right? So very successful trade. I inherited an amazing leadership team that he built, and I carried it forward. And then we started selling all of our deals. We sold 85% of them in 2020, 21, which actually turned out to be phenomenal timing.
Mm.
And we went down though, because when you're vertically integrated, the only way to grow is to acquire more deals, right?
Mhm.
So we had 2,500 doors, multifamily doors. And in multifamily, that's very small. In PM SFR, that sounds kind of enormous to some
Yeah.
folks, right? But in that space, it's not big because you're managing 250 unit type style
Yeah.
communities,
It's totally
right? So
different.
you might
Yeah.
have 10 of them, and you're like, what, 10? Like you should have 100.
Mhm.
So we pushed it back up, and we pivoted the firm and kind of reskinned it to become a third party pure operator. And we pushed it back up to 18,000 doors. So we went back up to 400 people. So I presided over a real estate private equity deal and a pure operations deal.
Mm.
Both times hit 400 people, which, to get to North Point, how did I get there? Well, I had a wonderful, glorious exit with my business partner who was the founder of all those
Mhm.
businesses. I did some really wonderful things with him. His name is Pete Rex, if you want to look him up. But it was just time for me at 13 years full time with Pete, time for me to be on my own, figure out what I want to do. Actually, that's how I got into my talent firm. But
Yeah. It's
we can
awesome.
talk offline about that.
Yeah.
But I have a heart for talent. I have a heart for, people finding their dream role. Did that and it was exploring, man. I found my way into the private equity world looking at property management.
Mhm.
I was kind of fascinated by it because the attention that they were giving to multifamily property management companies it became like, a drip, and then it was like a wave, like an avalanche
Mhm.
almost, if that makes sense. It was like a couple things and then boom, everyone's doing it. So that's fascinating to me because and I'm one of the people that think private equity consolidation, there are many good things that come of it.
Mhm.
There are some bad things, but the level of talent, the level of capital, the level of financial sophistication that comes into our space by
Mhm.
virtue of these PE shops paying attention to what we're doing,
Mhm.
I think it actually benefits the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because you hear a lot of grumpiness around private equity. There's a lot of roads to that grumpiness. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
not all or nothing. It's not a zero sum game. So, it's funny you mentioned Rex. Is it Peter Rex?
Peter
Okay,
Rex.
so
Yeah.
I don't know Peter, but I know Blake Atwell. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
and he's recruiter at Rex now. So
That's
kind of funny,
right.
small
Oh,
world. I
wow.
think that's how maybe we originally got connected to
Yeah. He
LinkedIn.
he
So
started after. I've seen him on LinkedIn.
yeah,
He
yeah.
started well after I left.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's funny. That's
Yeah.
a small world, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, so at North Point right now, what is the main focus in 2026? And we're going to get
Okay.
into some leader development stuff because, like I
For
said
sure.
before we hit record, you're one of the only people that I hear talk so passionately and so consistently about developing leaders. I mean, I was just sitting at lunch with a guy and he's like, "Hey, man, I can find talent. That's not really difficult for me,
Mhm.
but it's developing them once they get there." And I thought it was really
Right.
cool. So kind of a two-part question there. One, just a little background on North
Mhm.
Point, but then, you're entrusted with a lot of people, a lot of families.
For sure.
There's a lot going on there. How are you developing your team right now? Which I think is going to be an increasing topic in PM
Yeah,
as
it
people
is.
see the value of like longer tenured, more talented folks.
Yeah. So first of all, North Point, right?
Yeah.
So all right. North Point is it's a 20-year-old business, but I'm calling it a 20-year-old startup because it came a long way, man. 5,000 doors again in SFR, that's very big,
Mhm.
right? National scale. That team had a private equity partner that came in and recapitalized the business into December 23. So over 2 years ago. And then I joined about 8 or 9 months ago. And I came in through in collaboration with the private equity team. I didn't really know the founders of North Point. I came in by getting introduced to the PE team. So, and it was just time. Like, what kind of what gets you here doesn't get you there mindset. Like, what got built at North Point, I think wasn't really needed to be retooled. Just like every business, and they did some phenomenal things at North Point. Had some phenomenal people, but now it's like, hey, man, there's a new moment in property management. It's a very
Hmm.
exciting opportunity. It's time for new innovation. It's time for new use of tools. AI, I think it's a little too buzzy, but
Yeah.
like it's a very important thing, new talent, and new approach. So I was excited to come in and try to be part of this resurgence of this 20-year-old startup. Yeah,
Love
I
that.
got very attracted to SFR too because again, multifamily, different world. I'm still learning some SFR things
Hmm.
from people. Like I come to a conference like this and I learn stuff.
Both industries have a ton of people in them. You got to
Mhm.
lead those people. You got to develop them. So
No doubt.
in these first 9 months in the role, obviously something you're passionate about, but coming in at the top and being there, almost in the year mark, what has been your main focus from a leadership standpoint in developing the talent, creating that culture, et cetera?
Yeah, I think the questions really are about like, hey, well, what's most important at North Point? I think two things, and there's a real good book. It's called "Winning Moves" by Dan Kremens. It's like the PE groups love this book, and I actually enjoyed it too. But they talk about like the first things first, meta levers, the top two big levers that you have to pull in order to get your company going where it needs to go is culture and team. That's it, just culture and team.
Yeah.
And then he's got 105 different winning moves you can do. And that all of that's about like financials and customer satisfaction and knowing your customer and like, dude, you can do all that, but do that without a good culture and without the team to go execute, you're dead in the water. You're not going to do it. So really, I knew coming in it would have to be really talking about culture, talking about mission. Why are we
Mm.
here? Who do we serve? Why do we serve them? Why should we be passionate about that? Why are we different from somebody else? So culture and then retooling up the team.
The
So
culture is interesting, right? Because, I think for some people listening, they hear the word culture and they think it's just there. You
mhm.
can't change it. Like it's just the weather. Like culture is the weather. Like it is what it is. But for you coming in, like what steps do you take in to create that culture? And I'm sure it's a work in progress, right? But tell us a little bit more about that because we're seeing more people from the ETA space coming to property management, start
Yeah.
buying these. There's a lot of acquisition happening. We
Mhm.
got Evernest, Matthew Whitaker tomorrow. They've done acquisitions, like not just coming in a situation like you of, coming in at the top and creating a culture, but also people buying companies and having to incorporate their culture. Let's go down that trail. Like, how do you create
Right.
culture in an environment that might have a different one when you get there?
Yeah. I mean, look, first of all, it's something that's evergreen. Yeah. Like to your point, it's not just something you just wake up one day and it's like, oh, we have a culture, we're stuck in it. No, it's like
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
day you, by your actions, you produce your culture. And also what's acceptable in your firm becomes the culture. So you can have nice, pretty things in the walls, but if you accept bad behavior, if you accept brilliant jerks, if you accept lack of compliance and not being, really forthright with each other, all these things, like they add up to who really are we?
Hmm.
How do we behave? And then who you promote and who gets fired. Those are key things. And if anyone wants to read more about that, there's a great book on Netflix, the Netflix culture. It's called No Rules Rules. Awesome
Gotcha.
book
Cool.
by Reed Hastings. Yeah, I'm really inspired by it. I'm inspired by a lot of different cultural, touchstones and people I've been inspired by, including my former business partners and all this stuff. But I think it's really evergreen and you have to constantly chip away at it. And so what we did at North Point, we put in an honor code that was super important.
Cool.
So everyone has to, they sign off actually on the honor code. And even as part of our talent acquisition, we
Yeah.
always read the honor code to people, make sure it resonates with them. And it's all about duty and we're stewards and, we do the right thing. And it's part of our thing. So then we have all these values, like brand new values that we put out. I think there's 6 of them. 10,000% compliance is one of them. It's like 100% compliant 100% of the time. It's white hot will to win. Make sure that you are a champion. You have a championship mindset. Like you want to get the hoist the trophy
It
at the
can
end of
work
the
for you,
season.
man. You firing
Yeah,
me
man.
up. I'm gonna
Yeah,
grow this
let's
podcast.
go.
Ball.
Yeah,
So
man. We got things to do.
you said brilliant jerks. That's
Yeah,
great. Because
yeah,
I feel like I hear that a lot. They got like
right,
Stan, who's the director of maintenance, just grumpy old man, but man, he gets the
right.
job done. But
Yeah,
he's also keeping people down.
yeah.
That's super interesting.
It
But the
happens in
honor
sales
code,
a lot too.
yeah,
People in sales.
I mean that's what makes him good sometimes.
True.
But that's
Well, what
also
do
what
you
makes him
accept?
bad. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So the honor code, tell me more about that. How long is the honor code? Like you get everybody to sign it or just leadership? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, yeah. We had everyone sign it, and then we also have 10 virtues. And actually, credit to my friend who's working with us now, JP
Yeah.
Schleter. He saw what we did at the Rex companies, and I'm inspired by a lot of what we did there. So
Yeah.
so really, a lot of like what I built is inspired by my early business partners, Pete. And then his brother Rob, like man, they just had like a different view of the world. You know, you talk about ever upward,
Yeah.
and really serving people. That was just like something we got baked into our DNA.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from them. And now we took, we scaffold that, our prior experience, and we try to take the best of it into this new thing we're doing. And
Mhm.
JP helped me really remember, oh man, virtues, super important, like love, faith, hope, fortitude, temperance, do prudence, doing all the things and being very discerning with what you do, how you treat people.
I'm like personally challenged by a lot of things you're saying because you talk to so many people in the single family space. This is not a knock at all,
Mhm.
but they've been doing it. They started it 15, 20, 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes self confess, they're kind of stuck in a rut. But I think with you, with your unique experiences, outside of real estate, obviously a lot in real estate, majority of your career in the multifamily, you're kind of coming into this space with like this like snowball effect of influences and books and people, et cetera,
Yeah.
that maybe someone who's just been in the game in a $500 portfolio for the last 30 years, I hate to say they've like missed out on it because they have a lot of encyclopedia of impact that we don't have. But yeah, man, the diversity of experiences that you're bringing in, I'm glad you're posting on LinkedIn because I feel like the industry needs more of that, like more of those
Yeah.
differing voices that aren't just about like churn and maintenance.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, look, there's always a place for X's and O's,
Yeah.
right? And then there's intangibles, and that's a lot of what I think about is intangibles. Because that I've seen it, man. I've seen it play out now. 20 years in business plus. Get that stuff right and get the right people and free them up. Give them autonomy and responsibility, and they're gonna kill it for you. Before you know it, you got the big Mo. That's what I call it,
Big
the
Mo. I
big
love
Mo.
Big Mo. And Big
You
Mo's better
feel
than
it.
Big Low.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel it in your business too. I'm sure you feel it. You're like, hey man, we got the big Mo. It's coming, man. Early days, like, all right, it's a little slow. And then all of a sudden it's an avalanche because you did all the right inputs
Yeah.
and you did all the right things. You hired the right team and you treated your clients really well. You were probably obsessed with them and their needs. And then boom, the big Mo happened,
Big Mo. Well, man, you give me a lot of nuggets. I got one for you. Rents always do. And that's
Mhm.
not a PM pun. I've been saying that for 10 years. When I was in software sales,
Mm.
rents always do. Every month. It's
Yeah.
like, especially in sales, you got monthly quotas. Like,
Right.
hey, boss man, I had a great January, February 1st. Rents due,
Yep.
So it's so true, man. Personally and professionally, it's like yes, there's seasons where it's a little more fun to pay rent, but yeah, rents always do. You got to keep going step by step or one step at a time, which you said earlier.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of steps, we're here at Broker Owner. There's a lot of talk about the future. I like walked by a couple of the sessions and I think I heard the word AI about 17 times. So I've already hit my AI quota for the day. You're more than welcome to reference it. But future
Yeah, I
property
have to.
management, talk to me. I'm going to press you a little bit because I really want to keep talking about the leader development. So,
Yeah.
but just like the future of property management, what gets you excited? What gets you concerned? You can talk about Austin, you can talk about Texas, you can talk about the nation, but like, what are you seeing right now? And yeah, man, what's getting you fired up?
What usually gets me fired up are just people. So I want to get back to your questions about talent development and how I view that, how our Northpoint team views it. And again, inspired by what I've seen work and not theoretical in a book that I read somewhere, but really we actually achieved this. And we have a thing called the project team. And that's inspired by something that happened called the business training program. We used to call it the BTP in the prior business. And now if you look at the business that I helped build, that's called ResProp. Now it's at 4,000 doors. I don't even know. Maybe it's more, 5 different states. When I left, it was in 18 or 19 in 3 states. So it's kept growing. And the leadership there is all mostly people who grew up out of this business training program,
Mm,
10 plus year people that had, it's a rotational. In the beginning, it was a rotational program where it's like, boom, they spent time in the field doing leasing, understanding the ground game, came back to the back office, worked maybe in talent recruitment, procurement, maybe like on the buy side, underwriting deals. So they
mm,
really had like a 360-degree view of the business. Then they go back out to the field, and so a lot of those people, one is the head of procurement, one's running the whole thing, one is the head of asset management, one is the head of our centralized services. They're all running ResProp, like
that's crazy.
homegrown talent. It's
Yeah.
one of the things I'm most proud of. Not that I was the only one doing it, right? Like we had a lot of our exec leadership was very focused on this program, and so and that really inspires me to say, hey, you know what? In property management, the biggest thing is that no one wakes up. This is very well known. Like they don't wake up and they're like in their fifth grade, they're like, I want to become a property manager
Yeah,
one
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. You
Like,
don't
I
hear
want to be the
that.
head of operations
Yeah.
in a big nationally scaled property management team. And we don't really have, when you look at academia, right, you see all these real estate finance programs because the buy side is sexy. I've been on the buy side, real estate investments, buying big deals and, help buy, our team bought a hotel. It was a sexy thing. People get jazzed up by that, but very few people get jazzed up and say, I want to spend 20 years perfecting the craft of being a property management expert. And we need to change that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, the BTP program we had studied enterprise. I don't know if you ever looked
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah. The
enterprise. Like,
former athletes commercials.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So those people coming right out of college grad, they had some leadership experience.
Yeah.
Maybe they were head of the fraternity, sorority, college athletes. Those people were recruited in mid-tier
Yep.
colleges that
Yep.
kind of forgotten about. The Ivy Leagues probably aren't going there.
They're not gonna go vacuum a car in San
Exactly.
Antonio.
So they're looking for humility and leadership and boldness, and then they want people that want to grow. So they get plugged into this program, and then some of those people made millions running their like a big expanding book. So we looked at that program, and that's a lot of what they did. They did a lot of rotational stuff, and then we also built a curriculum where we had like 20 different books, leadership, management, biographies,
Well,
books that the kids would read. So I want to rebuild that. We're not quite there yet. We have built
yeah.
a project team. The project team is transformational in the business because you put them into like different things where you have a strong need and you need high trust. And the key thing is that they surface a lot of the intel for you, the real talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how it's really going down. Do you understand this? RM's not getting back to me for 2 weeks and they're yelling at their team and they're kind of bad for business. We saw all that like very quick because we had that lens of the
Yeah.
project team lens with high trust people.
Yeah. Man, that's
Anyway, I would just riff there for a little bit, but
yeah, no, that's great. We hear it so many times about training,
mhm,
and it's all about leases and turns and just the X's and O's. It's not so much about the soft skills of like progression of character, progression of leadership. And I think there was one of the sessions I didn't get a chance to go to it, but someone told me like what do you call it? Like the tenure of like property management staff,
mhm,
especially people under 100K roles. It's still just like way too high. You can't have
right,
any consistency when your average tenure for your PMs is like 2.5 years. It's like it's just a
right.
revolving door. But if you're not developing them and they are like a even a B plus player and they're not being challenged, then they're gonna leave.
Mhm,
It's like you need to develop them and keep challenging them. It doesn't always mean a promotion. But like if they don't feel like they're getting better at being a human being and being a professional, they're gonna go find someone who'll do it.
right. So in 2026, gosh, what is North Point's main goals? Like nail the culture and get the team gelling. And there's like this, what I used to consider very cheesy phrase, which is like forming, storming, norming, and performing. Someone told me that I was like, get out of here. This is Microsoft. It was a very high up Microsoft person, VP of product. And when I was working in some of the tech stuff we were building, I was like, that sounds so cheesy.
I thought you said Michael Scott, not Microsoft.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
Microsoft.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Microsoft, very high up person, and we were working with them. Anyway, but the more I've seen it in my career, that is so true.
Mm,
Like, you first hit the form, then you storm because you don't know how we work together. That's why tenure really matters, and that's why getting exec recruitment, kind of what you do, is so critical because a bad hire, man, it sets you back so much.
yeah, especially with
And
what you're trying to do with
yeah, yeah.
building the startup. Love that.
Right. I'm not trying to get someone on and just like test them out and then burn them out in 3 months. I want to build with them for 5, 7 years, however long this thing takes. Maybe it takes longer. And we have very ambitious goals. I want to get to 40,000 doors in 4 years.
Do you share that the recruitment process, the big goals?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, definitely. I also do the anti-pitch,
Oh
which
yeah, tell me more about that. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, I do
keep going.
the anti-pitch, which is like, hey, here's all the bad things that, that I should surface. Not bad things, but here's the unique attributes of our culture, the way we do, our MO. That doesn't work for everyone. Hey, if you love SOPs and you like need to come into a group that's very settled and we're never going to change things and we're just going to be like static, no, that's not going to work. I need a builder. I need an entrepreneur. I need a founder, owner mindset. I need frugality and, yeah, I need passion and championship mindset. So if you don't have those things and you're the other one where it's like, oh, tell me what to do. No, please don't show up here because you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, you're not gonna be happy.
You're
I'm
going to
actually
be
doing a
miserable.
service to you.
Yeah.
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 So speaking of change and zooming out for the industry, like, I mean, there's a lot on there, especially on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
about this is changing or that's changing. But what's a new, I guess, some momentum that gets you excited right now?
Okay. Yeah. Because I didn't barely answer your
No, you're
last
good, man.
question.
No, hey, we're in the van. We're hanging out,
We're
man. You're
chilling.
good.
To me, it's not AI. AI is going to do what it's going to do. It's a great tool. It's powerful. We're gonna use it just like everyone else. But again, as humans, how can the humans wield that tool to make themselves more productive? And to do that with orchestration.
Mhm.
And I think people that are like very obsessed with vibe coding and getting, I'm going to rebuild Calendly. I'm going to rebuild this. Like, all right, man, I get it. Like, good. You save $10 a month. Like, I think of high leverage. My highest leverage activity is to serve our team. So if I have 100 people in our business and as CEO, I drive a change that can save everyone an hour a week. Dude, that's 5,200 hours a year
Mhm.
that we just saved. That's massive leverage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think of it. It's like there's an orchestration that needs to happen where everything's kind of flowing together. We're using our systems, we're using new AI tools, we're tooling up our people
Yeah.
as well and developing them in new ways so that everyone can be much more productive.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That's a good word right there. Well, actually, here's a quick question for you. Um, we asked this casually about 6 months ago. Then it became part of our Rolodex of questions.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued for you, who's been through the grind, especially 2008, 2010. And I want you to feel free to go down any trail on this one. But you as a person, you talk a lot about your personal life, your family life on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
How has being in real estate and property management specifically changed you as a person?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways. I mean, the obvious answer is that you're dealing with someone's the most personal thing that they're going to do, right? And probably the biggest expense in their life too. If you're a renter, right? A lot of studies show that 33 and sometimes in places like Miami is 50% of someone's
That's crazy.
50% of your take home pay is for your shelter. So you have a massive that's another one of our values called sacred duty.
Mm,
Sacred duty is uh that every single day, if you see something that could be wrong, looks wrong, doesn't feel right, you have an obligation, a moral obligation to say something because we deal with people's lives. And there's horror stories. You know what I'm saying? When you don't do the right thing, when you look the other way and you pretend like it's not going to be an emergency or what have you, people wind up getting hurt or God forbid worse. Right. So
mhm,
you have a sacred duty to residents.
mhm.
You also have a sacred duty to owners. That's more of a financial stewardship thing. But, people are living in homes. They're real people. They have dreams and hopes. And yeah, I think the higher up you get, the more you can forget that. So I like to really, think back in my early days, like, knocking on people's doors during the great financial crisis. They have no money. You're trying to help them through. Okay, man, well, just give me the keys and you can leave. Don't worry about what you owe me. Cause that's actually good for the owner sometimes too. It just vacate, just go on your way. So just like being more human,
Yeah.
bringing humanity to what we do, I think has just been baked into, again, my DNA because of where I came from, how I started.
Has that gotten harder to be human at a C-level position?
I think so. It's something you have to work toward. You have to work harder at because, like Bezos says, he talks a lot about proxies. So when you deal with proxies, which is like, oh, this is why I'm gonna get on EOS a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk tomorrow at NARPM about EOS. I have a bit of a contrarian view of I think a lot of EOS is a proxy for what's really happening in your business.
Mm.
And then you wind up spending a ton of time in meetings. And then it's like, well, how do I do the actual work? Because then after the meeting, I'm doing the follow up from the meeting. Well, sometimes you have to just dive into the ground truth and just get in there with people. And that's one interesting thing about multifamily versus SFR. Like when I came into SFR, one change I really made note of is that when I have a multifamily issue, I can fly to a property and get a bunch of real rich intel immediately. How does everything look? What's the
Yeah.
vibe? What's the culture of the maintenance team? Are they working together? Are they, you know, are they at odds? Is the back office and front office kind of collab, or are they not talking to each other? All this stuff. Is the grounds clean? When you have 100 SFR doors or 300 or
Yeah.
1,000, like you'll spend all day going and no one's centralized on a site. So you have to find other ways to dig in and get with the people,
Yeah.
and not get snowed by the proxies, which is just more financial KPIs and meetings upon meetings, death by meeting. That's why I don't like EOS. It's death by meeting.
That's a hot take for some people.
No, they're
There's
gonna
some
kill
ride
me.
or die. Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah,
drive
we're
a
gonna edit
stake through
that
my
out.
heart.
No, I'm just kidding. Please don't edit that out.
Mhm.
Our marketing person. Because you're right, man. Some people are ride or die EOS, but I hear what you're saying is that it's basically a protective mechanism to maybe not get into the why behind something. And
Right,
it's just kind of like, yeah, you're right. Meeting follow up, and by the time
right.
you follow up, you've got another meeting. Be careful when you step out of this van, man.
No, I know. Some people use it great, and that's fine. But we've also had people come to our company from other big shops, and they'll say, "Thank goodness," because I spent all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday with my camera on the whole time for 8 hours a day. That's not human, and really, it's a passion of mine too, because I understand the cognitive load that takes on people. There's good studies on this, and actually, I know it from personal experience. If I'm on my fifth video call of the day, and I don't need to be, I'm not hating it, you know? So like first time we have a call, I think video is great. But the fifth time we have a call, I can just call you.
Just call. I gotta get my
I just
steps
do
in,
a
man.
walk. Yeah.
I'm
I
almost
gotta get my
40, dude. I
steps
gotta
in.
get that 10,000, man.
Yes, me
I
too.
got to. Hey, we got our steps in this morning.
We did.
Shout out Mason. Not a paid
Yeah, man.
shout out there, but they did a really good job.
Did an awesome job.
That was fun.
NPM.com and
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Got
yeah.
to. Man, I love what you said about the video call. You can ask any of my former coworkers on W2. I hate
Mhm.
meetings, dude.
Yeah.
If the meeting was like 3:30 to 4:30, at 4:29, I'm standing up. And they'd look at me and they'd be like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Hey, I gotta go."
Right.
So maybe I was being a bit of a jerk, but
No,
I
you're
hate
being a good
meetings, man.
leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been awesome, man. I feel like we just touched the surface, but we really appreciate you joining us. We got a couple rapid fire.
But dude, we didn't even get into the future of property
All
management.
right, yeah, give me something.
All right. Couple quick hot takes. Number one is a couple, maybe there's three.
You're good.
The number one thing is owner obsession and owner alignment. And I think that is one thing I don't see a lot of in SFR is that talk track. You know what I'm saying? And there's ways multifamily doesn't always get it right either. But I think that we should have a lot more discussion about owner alignment because in SFR, it's actually more of a misaligned business than multifamily.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a lot of your payroll is an asset level expense. And so, for example, maintenance in SFR, if you have a maintenance program, you're at odds with the owner because you are incentivized to make margin on every hour of a tech's time. So when you roll that tech onto a property, you're in this weird zone where you want it to be good for the owner, but also make margin on that tech. Or if you're doing a coordination charge on a vendor who's doing work at the property, how do you police that? So getting more alignment, I think there's structures that we're flirting with right now is being well received in the industry, which is more based on NOI. So we'll have an
Interesting.
incentive based property management program. I've done this in the past. I think
Yeah.
that's going to really be an unlock, and it'll take time to infiltrate the business.
Yeah.
But
Dude, your multifamily background's fascinating. And like what you're picking and choosing or kind of
Mhm.
cherry picking to implement in SFR,
yeah,
we're
well,
onto something. Keep going. That's only one, man.
we haven't won too big yet, but like we're working on it.
Yeah, you're
it's,
chipping away, man.
yeah, we're chipping away. We're hard. We're in the lab,
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I think SMF, which is small multifamily, is a
Mm.
completely the redheaded stepchild of the whole real estate housing market. When you look at SFR, it's just really been institutionalized since 2008, 10, out of the GFC. You had Waypoint, and then you had Invitation Homes. Then you had all these Progress and whoever, and they proved for the first time that you can run a national scale program. Before then, it was all mom and pop,
Mm.
you know? And at some point, when Greystar was 250,000 or 100,000 or 250,000. And right now they're at 1.1 million. I remember my partner said to me a long time ago, over 10 years ago, that Greystar is going to be at 1 million. I'm like, no way. No, like it's not possible. He's like, yes, it is. It's going to be possible. And so I think the next step for SFR is that you're going to have proven scale power because people know how to acquire in SFR. They don't know how to organically grow to a place of national scale like Greystar did.
That's fascinating. I've had 3 conversations in the last 24 hours about acquiring local businesses, but kind of on that topic, I feel like people are starting to flirt with that, but no one's talking about it at the scale that you are.
Yeah, yeah. I think small multifamily, we can do 10,000 doors a year in small multifamily alone. And then we're going to also push into BTR and scale the SFR as well. SFR is tough. Institutional is quiet right now and retail is on their back foot because people are not buying as many doors because of interest rates. So the whole liquidity in the system has been depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, everyone's talking about, it's been a tough 3 years. Like, yeah, it has. Welcome to real estate. It's cyclical.
Yeah.
But small multifamily is there for the taking. Someone's going to be a national scale player, just like Waypoint invented it and Invitation Homes did it. And then now a lot of groups do it, right?
Cool.
And someone's going to become the Greystar of SFR.
Is it going to be you?
Hell yeah.
Wait, we're getting almost wrapped up out of the van here.
we're getting the,
I don't know if that was just a guy off the streets in New Orleans, but real quick, rapid fire, man. What's a book or a pod that's actually our friend Ray Hespin knocking on our door. We thought it was just a random person off the street.
He's both.
What's that? I can't wait for him to hear that one. All right, man. Rapid fire here.
Yeah, hit me.
This is going to be a hard one for you. I'll give you 2. We're in the van. We're in NOLA. It's a big easy. I'll give you 2. A book or a podcast that has had a big impact on you as a leader.
Oh, okay.
Or that every PM leader needs to read.
Yeah, book for me is High Output Management. It's by Andy.
I've read that.
Okay, that's my favorite. Yeah, that to me is when I think of EOS, what's more important than an entrepreneurial operating system is thinking of your highest leverage activity every single day. Where can the 20% of your time that creates 80% of the value? If you just think with that mindset and you have your whole team do that, you're going to kill. That's the real meaning of that book. And
it also has a terrible cover. Any book that has a terrible 1987 cover, good chance is going to be pretty good. Right? Yeah, that's a great.
We'll talk about a servant leader. He's on the same uniform and he's got his ID card and he's one of the most important leaders in the whole thing. He's got the same ID card that everyone else uses.
Was he a Microsoft guy too?
Intel.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
cool. Give us another one, man. I know you're a big reader and a big listener.
Oh, man. Well, I'm inspired by so many. I mean, the Bible, number 1.
Great choice.
Read it every day. So just stick with that, guys.
Yeah.
Or some version of that, like spiritual reading. I don't care what your religion is. There's something that brings you out of yourself and attaches you to a spiritual plane.
Love it, man. Yeah, my 4.5-year-old will be reading books. We'll pick them out. He always says Bible, most important book. I said, hey, well done, son.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. All right. So favorite tool. It doesn't have to be a PM software tool, but what's your favorite tool right now?
I think the calendar.
Oh, that's a good answer. That's a little deeper than we usually
old
get.
School.
Yeah.
But just like really, really using your calendar well for yourself, knowing how you, I read a reflection. I don't think I read the book. It's called Corporate Athlete. Really knowing how you work. Like what morning times are for what? For you. For me, it's for my deepest work, my flow state.
Yeah.
Afternoons are for meetings because I'll get re-energized by talking to people. But if I don't have my clear-headed mornings, I get a little more grumpy. I'm not myself. And my fitness, my faith routines. So I'm very calendar focused. And you can also use it as a leader to get people's attention. Yeah. So if I have an important project, I'm going to put it on people's calendar until they're like, yo, why are we having this meeting anymore? Yeah. Or I'll say that and be like, oh, this is already handled. Stop with the calendar.
That was a way deeper answer than I usually ask people, they say the new coolest tool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Google Calendar. That's your main.
The dopest tool of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got a book for you, When by Dan Pink, WHEN. It's not about what you do or how you do it, but when you do it. Kind of the same thing of circadian rhythms and work. And some people think it's a little overboard, but I'm like, no, man. I try not to have meetings in the morning or do client calls at certain times. Hey. It's talking about never book a surgery after lunch. Because the amount of malpractice for those surgeries is 45% higher. Something crazy.
Right.
Because the doctors are tired, man. Look at that 6 a.m. slot.
Same thing for a judge. If you go before a judge, because they're trying to get to lunch. They'll just be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, they need that Jimmy John's, man. You just got 5 to
Mhm.
10 just because they want a club
Right.
sandwich. All right, man. One word to describe the future of property management. What you got?
Missionary.
Tell me more.
We're looking for missionaries that want to build something spectacular, that want to change the game of SFR, that want to elevate the industry, that want to prove that we can serve owners well, prove that we can have a sacred duty to residents, prove that in 5 to 10 years, anyone that took time at Northpoint and has that on their resume is like bulletproof within the talent space. They'll
You
look
basically
for
become
those
the
people.
enterprise. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Love
Yeah.
that.
Missionary.
Love it, man. Really appreciate you being here, man. I learned a ton. Like I said, personally challenged, and I look forward to hanging out the next couple of days.
Let's
Thanks so
do it,
much.
man. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. See ya.
Appreciate you.